like to get I'd like to get approval of the meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public comments. If there's anybody that would like to make a public comment before we get into action agenda and information, now's the time to do that.
I see a hand raised.
Okay.
Okay, is the audio good?
Yeah.
Okay, greetings. Hi. Good afternoon. So I've got two quick items. I'll try to do it in less than 3 minutes. So the first item goes back to the front of the Burbank Auditorium. And there's three 72-inch doorways that then lead out to one stairway. And that seems overly tight. It seems to violate the concept that you never diminish the width of a path of an exit. No one wants to talk about it. Okay, so now I've got a chance. I've actually spent 3 hours going through the plans for the building. The plans for the building call for that stairway to be 216 inches wide. 72 times 3, you got 216 inches of width coming out of the building. You should have 216 inches going down the stairway. That's what we told the state architect. If you go out there and you put a tape measure on it, it's 186 inches. To me, that's an issue. And we certainly have an issue that we weren't honest with the state architect. And so as a minimum, we have an issue that we didn't do what we showed on the plans. And as a highest end, we actually have a life safety issue there. And I'm taking my EMT refresher class at the junior college, and they're talking about people exiting buildings and facilities and how poor design and poor emergency exit planning leads to injuries. And in the incident in Las Vegas, as many people were injured by the facility design and the exit planning as were injured by the shooter. It's just terrible. Okay, second issue. The other safety issue we've been facing for 3 years now is COVID, safety, hygiene. And when we rebuilt the Burbank Auditorium, people recognized that the old restrooms were totally inadequate. They slowed people down. You couldn't get people through the restrooms during an intermission. And so rightfully so, the building plans called for more toilets and urinals than are required by law. If you went by law, it would take probably an hour and a half to 2 hours to run everybody through. So we went beyond the verification and the specifications to some good common sense. The issue we face is somehow that good common sense didn't go to the lavatories, the wash basins, or whatever, or the sinks, or whatever you want to call them. In the women's restroom, it turns out, and of course, none of us know because we don't get in both sides. In the women's side, there are 6 wash basins. In the men's side, there are 3. So if we're supposed to wash our hands for 20 seconds. If it takes 30 seconds between individuals, we can run 6 people an hour, 6 men through an hour, 6 men a minute through those facilities. And so therefore, we need to have like a 25-minute intermission because we limited it by the number of sinks. I don't know where the thinking came from, but it's crazy. WebMD, it says that 85% of men wash their hands leaving the restroom, 93% of women wash their hands leaving the restroom. We want to make that easy. We want to make it work for everybody. We want to make it convenient and happen. What we've really done is we've said, we're going to reduce safety because we're forcing men out of the restroom without washing their hands because we didn't build an adequate facility. Somehow the thinking was missing. So, we really should get rid of, it sounds like institutional sexism that we provided insufficient wash basins on the men's side. Let's work on these safety issues. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Shall we turn it over to Kate? Kate, do you want to, you're going to give the Dr. Chong report today? Or not?
Yep, sorry, I went off camera instead of
That's
unmuting.
okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, it's not Friday yet. I don't have a report from Dr. Chong today.
Okay.
He didn't send anything my way, so.
All right. But thank you, though. Seraphin, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, and I think the first thing on our agenda is Matthew Long with a presentation from the Petaluma campus.
Well, thank you, and thanks for allowing me to present an idea around art, as a matter of fact. So let me go ahead and share my screen. I believe you all received this in your preparation packet for today. The Petaluma campus has been looking at a purchase of an art piece from a local and well-known national artist. His name is Patrick Amiot. You all may or may not be aware of him. He is located in Sevastopol, and his work is pretty much all over town and really around Sonoma County. He does sculptures that you may recognize out of recycled materials is his gig. They have some whimsy to them for the most part. They're considered, I would say, sort of accessible art, one that speaks to, you know, the everyday man and woman, and is fun, and also, I think, embodies some values that we found very appealing around art that's fun, but also sustainable, and using materials that, and I'll get more into that of what his intentions are around this art. But we have a small group looking at this. It's Patrick, I'm sorry, Christopher Sinicki is our anchor instructor in art at the Petaluma campus. And so he and a student of his are working with me on this selection of this art piece. So what we asked him to do was he met with us and we discussed kind of the goals and mission of this art piece. And again, Petaluma, we have been working on a transformation of the campus, you know, and myself as executive dean now of the campus have been taking art as a real piece of our transformation of the campus. And if you look at the educational master plan for Petaluma, it calls for this concept of creating an experience on campus, both academically, socially, but also simply the environment, that you're learning an environment that speaks to you, your background, your interests, and also is an environment that is interactive. It's a beautiful campus, as we all know. It's just a little business parky, is what I like to say. It's just a little Italian village that needs a little spice and a little art. So that's what we've been doing. And as you all may know, we also commissioned a mural that went on the side of on Jacobs Hall, as I brought to this committee and you all sanctioned. So this art piece is, we're looking at one. The goals were we talked about who our students were, what kind of statement we wanted to make, and he actually studied Native American art and thought that the concept of the ravens fit to what we were talking about. So what you see here is a sculpture that's approximately 12 feet tall and approximately 22 feet wide. It has benches as part of it located on the right and left side of it. And the ravens are a symbol of character. And the idea behind the ravens is that the ravens will create a little bit of, they represent a little bit of chaos in your life, a little bit of getting you off your stated path and intentions. They recognize that life throws you curveballs, and the ravens are that of the natural world. And the idea is that you may have gotten off on your path, but you also learned something unexpected about yourself, and it puts you in a place that you did not necessarily plan or expect to go. And so we thought that fit very well with our concept of being an open access institution, being one that speaks to all our students, and being one that it's available to you on your second, third, fourth, and fifth chance of wanting to change your career or where you are in life. Something unexpected came to your life, and the Ravens threw you a curveball. And here we are helping answer that question of where are you going? This is the experience that gets you to that next step. So that's the basic idea behind it. Just giving you a little sense of the structure behind it. The artist is doing it through steel structures with rebar and such in the middle of it. We've had also Ron, our project manager from Capital Project, of course, is helping us engineer this and making sure it fits. He's the one that's tested embedding on steel plates so that we can embed it on concrete. I'll show you a little bit more about that in a second in terms of its placement and installation. But this is the basic structural integrity piece behind it. He, as an artist that's done a lot of work, you'll see him. He has installed in many different school districts and is aware of kind of that kind of concerns that we may have around safety and installation, all that. Yeah, Jeff.
Question, what is the significance with the birds?
Yeah, that's the ravens. That's the ravens that are the tricksters.
I mean, the ravens.
Yeah, so the idea is that the ravens are the tricksters of the natural world. And so the idea is that they may throw you some curveballs and get you off on a different path.
Okay.
And so it's that kind of symbolism in there. And actually our plan is to actually have some writing about the meaning of the sculpture that will be part of the sculpture and the installation of it. So it'll kind of explain this a little bit. And we're talking about having our Native American Affinity group kind of also help us walk through this and talk about it to students.
Great. I'm sure you mentioned I was taking some notes on something else and I missed that part. If you had said that, my apologies.
Yeah. No problem. And so placement, we originally were sort of looking at the front of campus again, because we have been, as you know, working on the Welcome Center at the front of campus and getting that place. And so we wanted it there. We originally were sort of looking at this spot, just getting you oriented here. The south entrance is our main entrance now. This is our cafe. 500 represents the student center now that has the Welcome Center on the front. Originally, we were sort of looking at this possible entrance, but we looked at it with facilities and we just there's a couple benches here that would be hard to remove, and it didn't quite get the same visibility. So I think we've decided actually on a spot over here in front of the Welcome Center. And we looked at the engineering. The concrete is thicker there, and we'll still have to do a little bit of a little bit more thick of a concrete pad, but where the installation's going. But actually right now there's a bench that we put in during the construction of the Welcome Center, but it can be removed. There are just some concrete bolts in it. So we actually discussed with facilities moving it over to this spot, that bench, and then installing it right in front of the Welcome Center here. So that's the spot that we selected for installation. And then we've gone through, recommended care with him. It's really, they're really low maintenance sculptures. Are meant to be that way, right? As junk art, as he likes to call it, recycled art. What's exciting is that he's using all recycled materials from Petaluma. He's committed to doing that and working on it as a sustainable art project. So it's just washing and soap with water twice a year. He actually will inspect it for us in the first few years and actually retouch paint and that kind of stuff. And he said on occasion, usually it's 5 or 10 years before you need to do anything on terms of paint on them. But he has, if we need somebody to retouch them, he will do that. So I'm hoping I've covered my bases there, but I am ready to ask for questions. Mike?
Great. So I was just going to say, this is a great idea. There's an Omniat statue out in front of the Luther Burbank experiment farm in Sebastopol. It's been a phenomenal success. I'm sure this will be very well received, and the position near the parking lot will be terrific. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Yeah, that is a great one.
Just asking for an action from the committee, so an approval from the committee to move forward. And if I can just ask the non-committee members to wait to be recognized by the chair before anybody speaks. Thank you. Trustee Lindley?
Yeah, the question I had is there any cost involved in this? Or is it a donation?
No, it's not a donation. Yeah, I'm using funds that I have for the purchase of the sculpture. And
How much is it? How much is that?
It's 15.
1,000?
Yes, 15,000. Yes.
Okay. All right, then we need a motion for approval. Do I hear a motion?
Trustee Ben Willis has her hand up.
Could I make a comment, Terry?
Sure, go ahead.
Oh, it's just a comment. I just wanted to say, I just love Patrick's work. I used to work in Sebastopol, and as you know, it's all over the place. And so I think this is a great endeavor for the Petaluma campus. I think it's going to be really nice. And yeah, totally support it. I think it's a great idea.
Thank you, Trustee Benuel.
Is that
Appreciate it.
Are you,
Caroline, is that a motion?
Oh, I so move.
okay, do I hear a second?
Okay. I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion approved. Okay,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Seraphin, back to you.
Thank you. So now we will continue with our budget update. So I will share my screen. We have hopefully you can see my screen now. And we'll start with the updates, and we'll start with the, here we go. Purchasing Department. Purchasing update. There is one solicitation that is still out. I won't talk a lot about this because Kevin Snyder will actually cover it in his IT department presentation. There's also the CUPCA bid that is currently out, the Shoal Farm fencing replacement project. It's estimated at $90,000, and those bids are due
Seraphin, it's really hard to hear you, Seraphin.
Okay. Hopefully you can hear me better now. There is one item on your agenda for next week to approve, and that was a bid for the food processing coolers installation to Kirby Construction. And then from the last board meeting, 3 contracts have been processed. The pest management services, the digital scoreboard for the athletic field, and also the Pauser Gym structural testing assistance. Those contracts have been processed by purchasing. Next up is the IT update. Kevin Snyder.
Good afternoon. Thank you. As Seraphin said, I have a short update on the ERP. I can expand at least a little bit. We've been through all the demos. We have received arguably a little less feedback and input than we were hoping for, but we did get a fair chunk of it. So that's all been good. We're getting some last minute back and forth information from the vendors and working on getting quotes from them. And in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we hope to make a decision one way or the other between the 2 ERP selections. We're getting really close, and it's frankly been extremely interesting how the sausage is made sort of process for me, as I feel like I've learned a lot. And I can't stress enough how big a deal this is for the district and how we do things on the daily. So I'm looking forward to getting the best product in here so that we can do our best for the district. And it's pretty much all I have this time, unless anybody has any questions.
Thank you, Kevin. We'll go on with the capital project updates, and we'll start with Dan next week.
So what you see here is basically 3 radio installations at the Petaluma campus. On the left, you see one of our mid-range directional antennas mounted on the outside of the Mahoney Library. And then the Call 600 building with an omnidirectional antenna in the center. And then on the right, you'll see the new mural. And I just have to say, I really like the way the artist added the little white beans to sort of disguise the omnidirectional antenna that was on the wall before he started his mural design. It is a beautiful mural there. And that's my report. We walked the Santa Rosa campus today and are planning for getting the installation done there before our completion date of June 10th.
Thank you, Dan. And next up is Ron Stewart.
Thank you.
I don't hear. Okay, so I'll give the quick update. Basically, we have received comments from DSA, and those comments are have been checked and planning to resubmit to DSA in first. So we're expecting the approval for DSA on this design in the middle of June. Ron also provided a constructability review for this project, and all of those comments have been coordinated with the design team. Next up is Ryan on the shown form.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. So in April, the punch list items were addressed and computer furniture was installed. Also, security hardware is scheduled to be delivered and installed at the end of April. And that's it for Schoen Farm AG portables. And for the Schoen Farm new greenhouse, utilities were installed and the building erection crew began at the beginning of April. And currently siding is underway for that project. So that's moving along nicely. For the Schoen Farm produce processing facility, the cooler Cupca bids were received on April 13th. 2 bids were received, and Kirby Construction was a low bid at $188,520.55. In the Public Safety Training Center update, the project is still in the design phase. 50% CDs were received in mid-April, and they're currently being reviewed for comment by district stakeholders. And for the Garcia renovations update, insulation and drywall were installed in April, and also HVAC and hydronic work continued as well.
Next, Heather.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. We are nearing completion of the CAD project. You can see that the baseball and softball fields are complete, and they've been using those all spring. The soccer field is being established and will be ready for practice this summer. Next slide. For the pool, it has been filled. The facilities has been trained on the mechanical equipment. We did the punch list on Friday last week, and we'll be working on the punch list throughout May. The county was out today, and we're getting close to getting approval from the health department to open the pool in June after the ribbon cutting on June 23rd. For the Bailey Fieldhouse, we are nearing completion. Well, we are substantially complete. We did the punch list on Friday. We're planning to turn over the building to the athletic department in June. We are missing the lockers. They've been delayed through COVID, but they should be coming in June. Otherwise, it's complete. For Towser, we submitted to DSA last week and it got approved. So the next thing is to collect testing of the structural elements at Towser. So we will be doing that starting May 31st between the spring and summer semesters. And we're looking for DSA approval this fall.
Thank you, Heather. Next up is Rhonda with update on STEM.
Good afternoon, everybody. In these pictures, you can see they finished pouring the slab on the first floor. All the other floors are also complete, including the roof. They're currently framing up the MEP pads, equipment pads for pouring. They're working on fireproofing, and then they're going to start working on defining where the walls go.
Thank you, Rhonda. Next up is Amy.
Good afternoon. Bertolini Student Health Services has been completed and the notice of completion will go before the board this month. This campus-wide security project final walk was held and the striping has been is in for will be in for a change order next month. Plover Hall security, there's only 4 more doors for the hardware will be installed May 6th. And then outside of the security on Garcia Hall, it will be complete. Baker Hall lab renovation. The final walk is scheduled for actually next week and closeout documentation will follow after that. The foundation new office building is going well. Framing has been completed except for pickup items. And right now they are performing the interior mechanical and electrical and plumbing rough in. And we're still on schedule for a January move-in date.
Thank you, Amy. Mike?
Hello, everyone. So it's exciting as the building continues to come up out of the ground. And by the building, I mean our new student housing building. And in this image on the right, you can see the massive foundation slab and the beginnings of the first floor wall. And then today, we started pouring the flooring of the second floor. We'll continue that on Thursday and then start with the second floor shear walls. And these images you're looking at on the left, a shear wall that's on the first level, and then the forms for the shear wall that will be on top of it at the second level. You're seeing a corridor on the metal studs, and then the metal decking that is the floor of the second floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. That concludes the project updates. We have 7 items on the agenda for you to approve next week. The first one, as Amy mentioned, we have the notice of completion for the Bertolini Student Health Services project. That project is complete. Then we have change order number 4 for the Schoen Farm Ag Portables. This change order is actually a credit. One of the things that I do want to point out, as you can see, we're at 9.51% change orders. So part of what's going on here is that this change order will include several credits. So we are removing scope from the project, and then that scope is being separately bid out so that we can keep the project under the 10% rule. So some of the items that are included in this change order include some revisions that were made to the electrical plan, also add some bollards around the transformer that PG&E required, installation of electrical for the sewer, and also some power controls for the septic tank. Like I mentioned, it includes credits to install water heater, some painting of the exterior, signage. We changed the copper to aluminum conductors that provided us a credit as well. And then there was asphalt that was deleted, and also the fencing. And again, those items will be bid separately. The next item is change order number 5 at Garcia Hall. The main change here is the originally planned ADA ramp on the east side of the building was not constructible. And so the change when we changed it to replace the existing ADA ramp on the south side of the building. At Schoen Farm Greenhouse, you may recall we actually have 2 contracts for the greenhouse project. One is for the installation of the building kit, and the second one is the actual building kit. On the installation contract, we have the first change order for that project that adds a couple of items, down leaders, extension of gas pipe, and some asphalt cutting and patching that needed to be done on site. And then there was also an added riser and electrical panel that was relocated. Item number 6, that's a change order number 3 for this the kit itself. That brings our total change orders there to 2.95%. And that was some material price increases that we have to deal with. Item number 5 is the installation of the coolers at the produce processing facility that was bid to Kirby Construction. And then the last item, I'll be presenting a resolution to authorize the use of design build for the Southwest Center facility modernization. I see Trustee Kundi, you have a question? You're on mute.
Sorry. Yeah, it wasn't so much a question, just a comment. It was at the end of the facilities. It was very impressive how far along you've all come in just in this short month. It's just amazing. I mean, it's shocking to see. You guys see it every day, but we don't. But I just want to let you know, it's really, really impressive.
Very good.
Mike, you have your hand up?
And I've got quick elements on this. First of all, on the contracts or these change orders, the details of those don't seem to be attached either to the agenda here, and they don't seem to get attached to the board agendas. And I think that should really be disclosed and made available. Second of all, I've run into an issue regarding fair use and copyright on the plans of a building. And we would expect that when we spend public money to be built, that the public would have ready access to review the plans and to make copies of elements of it and to quote from it. I mean, that's the standard part of copyright law, is that there's fair use. You can pull apart for criticism, for review, for education, for public press analysis. What I'm finding is an example with the Burbank Auditorium that was put together by TLCD Architecture. They've put a copyright notice on every page, and the junior college's position is that fair use does not apply. Therefore, the public may inspect those documents, but they may never photograph or quote from them. Well, that kind of violates every concept of fair use. And for example, I can't get an image of a document, a unit part, to share with you. But also a student who might want to read a report on how the Burbank Auditorium was rebuilt can't quote from it, can't take a clipping of a piece of it, even with adequate acknowledgement, can't use it. So therefore, as we work on these contracts related to any of this construction, we should be adding language that says the architect allows fair use under the fair use doctrine. And of course, we're not talking about allowing somebody to copy all the plans and reuse them to build another building somewhere else. That is not fair use. And the third note is there was a discussion about people being able to review the safety center plans. How are those plans available to be reviewed?
Review which plans, I'm sorry?
I think there was a note somewhere in the discussions that 50% of the plans, or the plans were 50% done for the new safety center up in by the airport, and it was being reviewed by people internally. How are they reviewed by the public?
Drawings during the review period are not available to the public during the design phase.
So they're available when they go out to bid?
When they go out to bid, after they've been approved by DSA.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, is there, Seraphin, you got everything covered?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, and thank you everybody for your reports. Is there any public comment on it, on anything before we close the meeting? Okay, seeing none, meeting adjourned. Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.